Another World Cup game on during a time when I can cast, which is nice and handy. I've got the players' games up, but let me find the game. My email address for everybody to see. So, oh, let me advertise in Discord. That's probably a good idea. Help if I use the right announcement tags. You know what? I'm just going to advertise in one channel. I don't really understand why people advertise in more than one channel. Just makes me get more alerts. Looks like the team is just forming up. The opposing players just joined the game. So let's have a quick look at deck lists. So, all right. Looks like they're starting. So it looks like the Scorpion deck is, I'm going to call it a standard deck. I don't think I've ever seen Dispatch to Nowhere being played before, so I'm interested in seeing how that goes. I kind of like City of Lies with all of these like Earth Becomes Sky and Curacao and Display of Power. Just makes that, I think, a bit nicer. And it works out of an individual combat as well, so if you wanted to do it on something like Suffer the Consequences, it's all good. And two's not terribly bad. Love Goblin Sneak with Miyako, that's classic. Disciple of Shinsei, I'm not super sold on this one, although I guess it is kind of clutch at a turn where you can throw over like a Miyako and then it can just discard an attachment. So I guess that's kind of nice. Master Whisperer, oh yeah, I love this guy. Disguised Courier, that can't be used on Shinsei, can it? Cannot. Alright, Unicorn deck. Elegant Tessins, of course, are nice. Lots of low-cost characters. Yeah, look at that. It's like ones and twos on the Dynasty side. Threes and fours just for a bit of flavor. What are the threes and fours? Shono, of course. Tetsuko, of course. Encampments and yurts. Lion Splash. Lots of good military goodness. 2 strength in numbers could become clutch. Cheat tactics. That's quite good. All right, let's get into it. 2 seasons of war on the Scorpion side. One could argue that's 1 season of war too many. Fawning Diplomat. Actually, the one of the other players on the Australia side, we were talking a little bit before this, and we thought Fawning Diplomat would be a really good play. We wondered whether we could go for a water on turn 1 if we were first player. In this case, we are not first player. I think the kind of clutch cards this Scorpion player is going to want in this matchup are maybe displays of power, and I guess you don't really want Kureko against these 2 unicorn personalities. They don't actually have any abilities. Paddy Ollie is going to hit Season of War. That's kind of nice. And he's going to hit a Dispatch to Nowhere. That could be good. You could spend a fate and just, kill one of these unicorn characters, but feels kind of low value. You've just spent 1 fate for a Season of War. And unless you can pass first somehow, Hmm. I'm actually going to disconnect from Discord. Well, actually, this probably doesn't hurt. Sorry. Hey, everyone in chat. At least people in chat are talking. Last time nobody said anything, and I thought I was just talking to myself for an hour. Oh, shit. There's always something, isn't there? I always forget something. There we go. How's that? Yep, classic. Lo-fi. All right. So it looks like Padioli has taken advantage of Seasonal War by just passing. Kind of the net result of all of that was to get an extra card with Storehouse. Um, on the Unicorn side, he's obviously taken advantage with his City of the Rich Frog, got another couple of low-cost characters. Low-cost, non-unique characters. That could be a factor. I feel like Unicorn is going to have a good turn here. So really, Padioli wants a display of power, I think. Although display of power is not really going to have that much effect um, because are there any keepers? There are no keepers, and the stream on my other screen is distracting me. There are no keepers, and doesn't really display power doesn't really matter for the stronghold. So he's going to win. He's going to sacrifice a character, then he's going to get an extra military conflict, and it feels like it's just going to be a really good turn. A Kureko could be helpful against this Border Rider, but you know, if the Border Rider activates, he's got no fate, and then the Scorpion player plays a Kureko on it. I feel like it's a low value play from the Scorpion player. Nobody here's really got any abilities except for this Gunso. And again, if you played Kureko against this Gunso, uh, it's again seems low value. Midnight, Midnight Revels is unfortunate. It's probably worth mentioning that the Unicorn player is on For Greater Glory. Is that the one? The one that gives a fate to all the Bushi. Let me just grab my deck lists and put them on the other screen. Yeah, For Greater Glory. So if he's got that, this could be a huge amount of acceleration. He's going for Void. Seems a bit weird. I think you would have wanted to go for Water as first player. Well, actually, now that I think about it, a Void play does tend to indicate that he's got a For Greater Glory in hand. He's playing a Spoils. Maybe he's looking for that For Greater Glory. For Greater Glory triggers on the province breaking, so we're not quite at that step yet. Discard Strength in Numbers. That's a bit odd. Strength in Numbers is always a nice card to have. Province hasn't broken yet. Somebody's thinking about something. Paddy playing Display of Power. Okay. Not sure exactly why. Okay. He's going to get the favor anyway when this fawning diplomat leaves play. So his opponent having the void ring doesn't really seem overly valuable. You know, if there were sort of keepers around, or if there was not a yurt, what's the other one? Shinjo encampment, then it would seem more worthwhile. Padiola going for the Sea of the Rich Frog. I think that's a safe play. I don't really think you want Unicorn having access to 2 extra provinces going forward. So definitely can't fault him for that. Those Shonos are going in the bin in the end of the turn, I would think. Probably Yuruma will stay. You guys let me know if the audio quality isn't that great either. I'm using a different headset to usual. Okay. Political Fire takes out City of the Rich Frog. Seems pretty good. It's going to cost the Unicorn player an honor. Unicorn player straight into his next conflict. Coming in on, he's got political at the moment. He switches it to military. That's right. Do you go water? Well, actually, no. The border raider still hasn't used his ability, right? So on the last conflict of the turn, you can um, just turn him on and go in for whatever ring you would like. I think air is a good play here, right? Because very quickly the unicorn player can find themselves in a little bit of a hole if they don't see yurts. Although being so early in the game, it's probably no big deal. Oh, Butters, you wound me. Feel free to jump on the cast, by the way, if you're interested. So, display of power. That's kind of interesting. Oh, he uses away his Scorpion. He hasn't activated display of power yet. Alright, so Unicorn has got to break Shameful Display at 3 strength. All very good. He's going to stand up his 3 political. What is this guy? Young Warrior. So 3 political Young Warrior. He's probably going to activate his Border Rider, come in for a political attack. Will that be 3 provinces on turn 1? That would be seriously unfortunate for the Scorpion player. Might not be worthwhile coming onto the stream, Butters. Might be over in a minute. So a second DOP to ready the fawning diplomats. That is interesting. So Border Rider readies itself. I guess maybe to defend here. I think if I was the Unicorn player, I would. Well, he probably doesn't have a whole lot of political buffs actually, so maybe defending a political conflict isn't so bad. Let's just have a quick look see. He's got Elegant Tessin. That is all. Yeah. Okay. So maybe he just defends this one. He might not win, but at this point in the game, against a Scorpion player, you've already got 2 dishonored characters leaving play. Um, defending, not losing an honor for an undefended province isn't so terrible. And there was no Kureko, I should point out either. Is that a Tessin? Certainly is. Should have known that as soon as the character straightens. So now potentially you could attack and defend, right? 4 political strength on the young warrior. Um, okay, just going for the attack. Secret cache. What will Padioli be looking for? Yep, we can increase the card size. Oh, too big. How's that? I gotta remember to scroll down, otherwise I'll be in the same trap as last time, where I think that nobody's doing anything, but actually I just haven't scrolled to the bottom. So Secret Cage picks a card. With the military conflict left, but no fates, it's hard to know what that card is going to be that's really useful here. So that's 3 honor at the end of the turn for that the Unicorn player is going to get hit with. Unicorn still has 8 cards in hand, so it's probably not super detrimental. Unicorn spends an honor to turn it into a military conflict. Paddy just pulling out all of the dishonor. So away the Scorpion to hit the Young Warrior. So that is now 4 honor at the end of the turn, taking the Unicorn to pretty close to striking distance. It'd be nice for a Scorpion to be able to get under the Unicorn's honor, but I don't see that happening before the start of the next turn. I mean, if Scorpion could prevent a break here, that'd be really nice. Joseph is just all inning on the honor loss. Double bonsaiing right now. At the end of the turn, he's going to go down to 3. that's uh, that's pretty good. EBS. That's the random discard from the Ring of Earth. Okay, that's a bit of a shame. EBS would have been really handy, maybe in a turn or two. But you know what? There are 3 in the deck, so probably no big deal right now. So if we just do a bit of a situation check, the the Scorpion player has the Unicorn player within striking distance honor-wise, and the Unicorn player has the Scorpion player within striking distance on that box. And as was prophesied, Shona goes into the bin. Yurima sticks around because Yurima has covert, and that would be super sweet right now against the Strongholds. There's a Yurt. Oh man, that Yurt, that's critical. Absolutely critical. Not a great flop. Not a great flop from Padioli. That blackmail artist could be kind of handy, although it does need to be in a political conflict. So I feel like Paddy needs to buy both of his characters. But he does have 7 conflict characters, I think. So it's I mean we could see him buy the blackmail artist and pass. That'd be kind of clutch. It's going to be on the box. What's on the box? Don't really even need to look at Joseph's provinces right now because I don't really see him going to get attacked all that much at the moment. Midnight Revels. Or effective deception. Could be effective deception on the box. Yeah, I think effective deception is super strong, right? Like, especially on the box where your opponent could have like a cav reserves or something like that. So it's back to Padioli. I feel like with 4 cards in hand is not a lot in terms of like having a conflict character. So if he passes, he's probably got a conflict character. If he doesn't pass, he probably doesn't have a conflict character. I think, is Yurima going to get bought? It's probably not a bad play to get Yurima. There's no move in on the Scorpion side, so yeah, I'd buy Yuruma actually, just to really just to really seal it in. Oh, hard casting a keeper. I feel like it's like in StarCraft when you pull all your workers, it's like it's the sign of something terrible about to happen. It's when you hard cast a keeper, or when you play backhanded compliment on yourself. Those are the two things that signal doom. Yep, Yuruma's going to get bought. Panioli passes and Joseph doesn't use the yurt. I guess it probably doesn't matter if he's not actually going to buy any more characters, but I probably would have done it in the Dynasty phase. Padioli having a bit of a think. Buy a card, Paddy. I think that's the right play. That's a good point, actually. I didn't realize that. Effective Deception could block HMT. Yeah, because it would happen before the break. Good point. Did I miss something? Where did this extra honor come from? Oh, did he yurt and get another yurt? That's probably what happened, right? No? Somebody in chat help me out. Where did the extra 3 honor on the unicorn side come from? Oh, is it the bid? It is the bid. Okay, yep. There you go. I just need to keep up. So that feels a little bit desperate, right? So with obviously the 4 cards that Scorpion had, didn't feel comfortable defending a military conflict, especially when one of these guys is going to get coverted. I feel like that Tetsuko ability is uh, going to be key right here. If that blackmail artist gets coverted, then all things like Four Shames and what get turned off because what are they called? Monks, keeper initiates. Keeper initiates are monks; they're not courtiers. Hmm. One of the things I like about L5R is that it's not over until it's over. You know, like this attack is going to be very strong. The first attack by the unicorn player, but I don't feel like it's game over just yet. So Paddy electing to attack with the Adaptive Shadows on Ring of Water, which I think is smart. Either one of the abilities on the Unicorn side is going to be really good to turn off. So you're either going to turn it off if they defend, or you're going to turn it off if you win the conflict. Of course, this could be uh, Khan's Ordu. You definitely attack water, but do you attack with a blackmail artist? Because for Joseph, if he defends with nobody, then the Scorpion player gets to pick which ability doesn't come into the next fight. If he defends with one, then both of them are going to end up being bowed unless he can win the conflict. And if you defend with both, that's, both of them are going to get bowed even if you lose the conflict. So Out of those three outcomes for Josip, I think the first outcome is better, but it is still but it is a very strong play by Paddy attacking on water here. Don't know about military. Maybe Paddy's thinking that if he attacks on military, you can draw out the military abilities, bonsais and whatnot. So Joseph not defending and just clicking for a fate. So that's cool. So Scorpion is winning and breaking. I think he should just take it. Go ahead and bow something. You could get around Yuruma and have somebody in your conflict on the defense by pulling up the Adept of Shadows and putting it down again. So from that point of view, maybe bow uh, Tetsuko, the card that I can never remember the name of. I, I would have done that after the conflict, in all fairness. I mean, if he breaks, he probably doesn't really care about breaks, right? He wants to have as few painful engagements on provinces as possible. So it's not wrong to pull up there. Maybe that's just my instincts playing military decks all the time rather than more subtle decks like Scorpion. All right, in comes Cav Reserve. So now he's looking to win the military conflict. Paddy's got a censure though, so yep, censure gets played on the Cav Reserves. Bows Tetsuko, all good plays. I'm not sure why you play Cav Reserves on the defense. You've only got three fate. If it's going to get cancelled, I feel like it would be better to be cancelled on the offense against the stronghold. Although maybe he's just trying to bait out the cancels. There's probably only three cancels on the Scorpion side anyway. Although it's hard to imagine what else would be so important to try and draw out a cancel. I can't remember the name of the card on the Unicorn side, but it's the one that gives people +1/+1 for all the non-uniques on their side, and they've got none at the moment, so that's not a great card. You've got no more fate to play the Earth card that straightens people. Oh, Miyako, nice. What was that? That was over the monk. Okay, this is good. This is very good for the Scorpion player. So I feel like attacking and co-voting Miyako forces the Scorpion player to defend with the Blackmail Artist, which is good because it means the Blackmail Artist doesn't get to initiate a political conflict next round and use his ability if he wins that. Every little bit helps at this stage. Effective deception on the strongholds. And Joseph now does have one fate with which to play an ambusher. I wonder if effective deception can cancel ambusher. Probably can, can't it? Although, if you did cancel it, then you know it's effectively the same as not canceling the ambusher. How many backhandeds do we think Paddy has? Gotta have at least one, right? So I think Paddy's plan obviously is just to. It'd be nice to win, but I feel like that would be secondary for his opponent to just not claim the air ring, or not to. Sorry, excuse me. It'd be nice for him to not claim the air ring, but obviously it's game over if he breaks strongholds. 6 cards on Jossip's side. Probably a good number of attachments, curved blades and such. I mean, you know what? Joseph, I think, is actually really safe, completely safe this turn with the windswept yurt and all. He could yurt, he could yurt Fate and try and play another Cav reserves maybe. That seems wrong. That just seems wrong. Panioli paying an honor for the honor of equipping a fine katana, swinging the conflict back to Paddy's favor, which would be good because you don't want your opponent to gain 2 fate. Not that, again, they're not really in a position where they're really in danger of that because they've got the yurt there. I think Joseph really just needs to decide that he wants to win the conflicts, but probably not take a break right now. He's going to be first player next turn, which could be quite strong. If he does win the conflict here, he can actually use his strongholds to get another military conflict. You have to sacrifice. You have to have more characters, don't you? And you have to sacrifice cavalry. They're both cavalry, so no problems there. 4-3 in favor of Joseph right now. Curved blades are good. Curved blades are really good. Paddy only got only 20 minutes left on his clock, so Joseph has a bit of time to think about some of these plays. Well, I have a feeling this game probably will be over before either player gets close to time. Okay, a Wayfinder. Well, you probably should know at this stage that the other province on the Scorpion side is Midnight Rebels. So is he playing it for the Shigenja? Or maybe he's playing it to get an extra military attack. If he's playing it to get an extra military attack, what's he going to attack with? Oh my god! He's assassinating the blackmail artist. Oh, oh man. It's cancelled. It's freaking cancelled. Oh, it's brilliant. I wonder why he didn't cancel with the stronghold. That's so like I mean the yurt is there. Definitely the yurt is there. And he could yurt into a yurt into a yurt or something crazy like that. So it's not super crazy, but 3 honor. 3 honor against a Scorpion player. That's it's not nothing. And it got cancelled. I suppose if you play assassination and it goes through, oh, effective deception was used on a bonsai earlier. There you go. That's why that didn't happen. So maybe he figured that Paddy didn't have cancel. So if it did work, Paddy probably couldn't do anything. It would be 5-0, and then he would break and win the game. So actually, you know what? Ignore me. That's probably clearly a good play. Did he just yod? No, he just he just ring of air for a 2 honor. So now 2 honor on both sides, 2 cards for Josip, 5 cards for Paddy. I feel like we're going to go into another turn. Paddy looks like he's positioning to get another honor and a card from Josip. I don't think there's anything that Josip can do about this, so I think he might just have to take this, which is going to be really tough because he's only going to have 1 card going into next turn. Correct that. 0 cards going into next turn. Is he going to have to bid 1? He could probably bid, maybe 2, maybe 3, but the choke is real. Like Scorpion have their pincers around the unicorn's throat right now. It feels like. This is what I mean, right? Like it's not over. At one point, it could feel like one player has the advantage, but that does not mean that they're out by any stretch. So Yuruma getting straightened for another another military conflict this turn. Miyako can't defend. There is a Adept of the Shadows in Paddyoli's hand that could defend, but I think that you gotta play it real carefully here. Hey Eric, what's up? Long time no see. Not since the last cast, right? Yeah, so I feel like Paddy's got to be careful here. If he plays the Adept of Shadows before the next conflict, then then it's going to get coverted by Yasumura. Because covert, every time you attack, you get to use covert, right? Um, Whereas if Yasumura attacks first, that's when you have to play the Adept of Shadows. Or Keeper Initiate. Well, he's just going to get coverted. Both players pass. Here comes the attack. I feel like it's a void attack. No fire? Yeah, okay. Take off the dishonor tokens. So 5. Curved blades are good. So Adept of Shadows. Joseph doesn't have any cards. So really, I'm right? Like the Adept of Shadows is still in Paddyoli's hand from earlier, right? Yeah, okay. All right, there it is. So not going to break. Uh, I don't think that the Scorpion player needs to win the conflict. No, in fact, he can use the Adept of Shadows to bring himself up, um, to bring himself down. Sorry, to 3 honor, and then at the end of the turn, no, there's no action window. Never mind. I was thinking that maybe you could bring the Adept of Shadows back into his hand, and then when the Blackmail Artist leaves play, you could go to 2 and then use the Stronghold. Oh, actually, that's exactly what can happen. So he's going to get an extra activation off the Stronghold, maybe at the start of next turn if he's lucky. And by he, I mean Paddyoli. I feel like if I'm casting just by myself, I feel like it's just my own internal monologue. So obviously I know what I mean, but you guys are gonna have to let me know if you don't know what I mean. Man, it's only turn 2. And that effective deception is back online. So either, yeah, Joseph is in a really tight spot here. He can't he can't really bid any more than one. So I think Paddy wants to go for an activation here off his stronghold. Right. Well, yeah, I guess the yurt's definitely going to help, right? What just happened? Oh, a season of war. Okay. I'm still not used to that card. All right, so there's the stronghold activation, which is nice. Hang on a sec. Did City the open hand? I thought that was like errated or something. Or did it become unerrated? Hang on, Dynasty phase. So we've got a bunch of cards coming out for Josip. Still in a very good position, although that dispatch to nowhere could be very handy to try and get out that infantry. Although, is Paddy just going to go for it? Has he got the other backhanded? If he's got it, you play it. I don't know why you play the first one if you don't have the second one. Oh, hang on. What? Runs out of Dynasty decks, so lose 5. Paddy only wins the game. What? Did Joseph just commit suicide? Is that what happened? Oh, he misread. Oh, that's so bad. Oh my God. Because the replacement card, after you search the top 5, has to go back into the province. Yeah, that's funny. Well, I guess that ends that. I wonder if let's ask Paddy, right? Uh, no. Why do you play the first one then? It is a bit unfortunate, right? Like that's a hell of a way to end the game. Because I think what Paddy can dispatch nowhere one of those infantry is, but it's still a very strong attack coming out of Joseph. Very strong. Even with only one card, uh, it feels like if he can just survive to the conflict phase, then it could be really good. Like what's Paddy going to buy? A blackmail artist who's just going to get coverted. So however many four shames are in his hand aren't going to be playable. Yeah, you know what? Since Paddy didn't have the backhanded compliment, yeah, I feel like that first attack from Joseph could just do it. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. So, all right. Thanks, everyone. I'll turn off the stream. I'll do the usual things and put the video up on the on my society's um, playlist. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for the organisers for organising everything, and thanks to the players. That was quite a good match. Well played.